Hello, my dear friends. I am Michaela. Welcome to my astrology channel, Today Energy. This is a general yearly forecast for 2023 for all of you born with a rising sign, ascendant, and sun and or moon in the sign of Gemini. So, dear Gemini, let's see what next year has prepared for you. Now, on a global scale, this will be rather a dynamic year as 3 other slower planets and the karmic lunar nodes are changing signs. But we are, of course, interested to see if these transits will affect somehow you. They will eventually, but the question is when, right? So I hope you know well your natal charts, and I mean not only the signs and the houses in which you have your personal planets, your important angles and points, but also the degrees are quite important for a proper forecast, even though general in these videos. So if you yet don't know, you're not familiar with your unique natal chart, then just go to websites like astro.com, or the one I like very much is astroseek.com. Introduce your place of birth, date of birth, and very importantly, time of birth. And the website will show you your natal chart. Because in this video, I will be mentioning oftentimes the degrees and the time period when you might feel the influence of these transiting planets and points. Also, I will be sharing with you my screen, this chart. This is a transit chart, the sky. In some moment of the beginning of 2023, I cannot animate it, it's a picture, but at least with my mouse, I will be pointing you which planet I'm talking about, the sign in which the planet goes, what does it do, the degrees it will cover, and how will it affect Sun, Moon, or rising sign Gemini. I especially build this chart from a perspective of a person with these positions in Gemini. This is built according to the whole sign system, which takes it that if your rising sign, your ascendant, was in Gemini, no matter the degree, when you were born, then Gemini automatically becomes for you your first house. The next sign in zodiacal order is Cancer, and it becomes your second house. And so we go 12 signs, 12 houses, counting from Gemini. This is the most ancient astrological system of house division, which the houses, they talk about the areas of life, right? Super important. I must just point out that in my personal consultations, when I do your natal chart readings or yearly forecast, I work with the Placidus system, which is much more sensitive to your time of birth. That's why it's super important. And it's so personal, right? I cannot use it for general forecasts. It's very personal. And of course, I believe can be even more specific and precise. Right, let's dive into 2023. So we start the year with very good news for you, I believe, Gemini. On the 12th of January, after 2.5 months of a retrograde motion, the planet Mars in your sign becomes direct. Yes, the days around the 12th of January, you should be more careful, more gentle on yourself. Don't be hasty, don't rush, because when a planet is stationary, it does not move from earthly perspective when we look at it. So, like, it's emphasized, and of course, Mars can represent also conflicts and aggression and accidents, incidents. So, be careful with, let's say, small injuries or conflicts. You don't need this, right? These negative emotions and events. But then the good news is that Mars goes direct and eventually gains speed and momentum, and he feels great. Mars is the planet of actions, of passion, drive, motivation. How nice to have him in your first house. And by the way, whole 7 months Mars is in your first house from August 2022. So use this time to be proactive, to be assertive, to go for what you want, of course, without fighting and being aggressive to others, but maybe with much more enthusiasm, let's say, right? And having this personal strength and power. First house is your body, so you might feel good as to make exercises, to be physically more active. Also, let's see what Mars rules in your charts. What areas of life will be unstuck after this retrogradation of Mars, after the 12th of January? What will go forward and gaining speed? Well, let's see. That is your 6th house, because Mars rules Scorpio. And most probably your 6th house falls in Scorpio. So work projects, relationship with employees and colleagues, your own health, and daily tasks, daily routine, much more excitement there, much more desire to deal with problems. Mars likes to deal with 6th house matters because it's about repairing, fixing things, being useful. So you will feel good by being useful, being effective and efficient, and again, taking care of your body and your work. And we see also that your 11th house falls into Aries. So we're talking here about social events, group projects, maybe going traveling with your friends, or participating in some political, non-political, social campaigns, doing startup, network events. Wow, this is great, because once Mars goes forward, direct, fast, then you quickly can find your tribe, your like-minded people, be proactive, do something interesting and exciting together. Also, you will be with much more enthusiasm, setting goals for your future, dreaming, planning, acting upon those desires for your own development. And most probably, if in the last 2 months and a half, there were no rewards for your work, there were no prizes, bonuses, even maybe you were waiting to be paid for something you did professionally, well, now it can actually happen. You will start receiving acknowledgements and gains from your professional efforts. All right. On the 8th of March, Saturn, after 3 years in the sign of Aquarius, will move into the sign of Pisces. And here he will be even squaring you. The time depends on the degrees, yeah? When Saturn will reach the same degrees in which you have in Gemini, your sun, moon, or rising sign. Saturn was in Pisces last time in between 1993 and 1996. So maybe something important was going on back then with your work, status, family, parent. Anyways, I'm going to mention now all the possibilities, just saying that in retrospective, you might realize that some topics, similar topics as of 28, 30 years ago might come back again now to your life, or something, let's say, similar. Not the same, of course, because the configuration on the sky at the moment, or in 2023, will be, of course, different than in 1993. All right, so first let's see what was Saturn doing for 3 years in Aquarius in your 9th house. Well, Saturn is a very strict, serious, rigid planet. Saturn is the planet of moral code, of principles, of hard work, and of, serious attitude to life. No fun, but responsibility and work. And 9th house talks about belief system, about faith and religion, about our principles and moral code. So on one hand, it's great to have Saturn here, because if you are more doubting or ambiguous about some facts or knowledge, Saturn here will make you build a system of all you know, organize it, and finally decide like what you believe in, what you discard. Saturn is practical, so it's not about just a blind faith and optimism, daydreaming, or just spiritual blah blah mumble jumble. No, it's about studying. It's about joining probably some organized schools, if about school. And Saturn really takes care about, Saturn wants everything that it's traditional and with status, something that others respect. So if you go to study, and you might want to, with this transit, to kind of join some structure, of knowledge, meaning college, university. So you would choose probably the oldest one, the most prestigious one, the most renowned one. You might meet some very serious, strict teachers or researchers. They might be a bit tough and criticizing, because Saturn is not exactly sweet planet. If we talk about religion, then you might go back to the organized religion, to the church, to follow the religious holidays, the rites, the restrictions, the fasting. Maybe you will do according to your religion. So maybe you will read the sacred texts, right? So not just believing what others tell you, but maybe you will meet also a very strict priest who will make you read the whole Bible and so on. Ninth house can talk also about you being the teacher, you being the professor, the publisher, the writer. And here it's, Saturn can be good to organize you. Sit down, write down every day 20 pages, have a schedule, because you need to create something tangible. Ninth house talks about acknowledgement, respect, being popular, being a celebrity, being an idol, a guru, a leader, right? So it's here you can't take people just by pure charm. You have to present something like, look, those are my studies, 20 years long studies. This is my documentary movie. This is my book. I made my research, right? I sit down in libraries. I wrote in the night. Saturn is a workaholic, and it can be about, producing some tangible piece of intellectual or scientific work. Maybe it's a master thesis, or you want to become a PhD, right? So again, you have to produce some scientific work that it's solid and serious. And how can you respect even yourself and make other people respect you with Saturn here is to prove yourself that you worked hard, you rehearsed, you repeated many times, you met obstacles and challenges, but you did not give up. Maybe you started studies of law or psychology, and you know that they're like 5-6 years ahead of you just of studies, and then practice, and but you know your goal, right? This is your end goal, to become a specialist, a professional, a master in what you do. Ninth house is about goal setting. It's a Sagittarian house. And we know that Sagittarius is the centaur that has the arrow pointing somewhere. He needs to see where he's headed to. Oftentimes, Sagittarius can be over-optimistic and not see the details, not see the current situation, just like, yes, I know, but I want to be the PhD in this university, but how he will get there, not very clear, right? So Saturn can answer this question of how. He wants you to build strategy and to have self-discipline and organization and a solid plan and a solid goal to achieve despite time and obstacles. You see, Saturn does not like to waste time. He is the planet of time. He was the god Kronos in mythology, in ancient mythology, and also he was the god of karma, fated events, karma, but more like reaping what you sow. The cycle of Saturn is 30 years. So usually at first, when he is somewhere, it's about sowing some seeds, and then you have plenty of time to work and to work on protecting them, watering them, taking care of them so they can grow and give you some good harvest. On the other hand, Saturn is also the harvesting planet. He was the god of agriculture in ancient Rome. So he can also give you very solid, good results according to your own efforts in this area of life. You see, every time he's about 2.5, 3 years in each area of life. And yes, he might limit your possibilities. He wants you to be discerning, to choose only the real deal, nothing mediocre or superficial. Don't split your attention, but focus on something. And about 7 years ago, Saturn was crossing your descendant and thus rising into your upper hemisphere of your natal chart, which is about your status, your public reputation, your role in the society, right? So there is a big distinction between a planet moving through the lower or upper hemisphere. So 7 years ago, you started your rise in the society. Maybe you met some people. Maybe now you will decide to marry them or divorce them. There will be some social change for you, especially when Saturn goes into your 10th house of status and career. But now it's more about preparation, studies, preparing the documents. Maybe there will be karmic meetings with foreigners or traveling abroad. On one hand, Saturn is a restrictive planet, so he might restrict your, first of all, enthusiasm and optimism and faith, replacing it with labor, hard work, hard studies, writing down your thesis and so on, researching. On the other hand, he can restrict your freedom of movement, exploring the world, traveling around for fun, but you can still travel, but for some conferences, for some business trips, to study, right? For some serious matters, to learn something from abroad that can help you form your own value system, your own moral code, belief system, principles that you will rely on them later in life for a whole 30 years. That's your inner philosophical, moral code and core. Frankly, be careful not to become too dogmatic, too rigid, like boxed-minded, not out of the box, but in the box can be Saturn in 9th house. So don't become like the Inquisition, from the old days when the church was burning people alive because they would have different beliefs, not even faith, but beliefs. So try to stay somehow flexible and accepting also others' points of view. Also regarding faith, some of you might rediscover or discover the faith and organized religion. Others might go atheist and be like, you cannot prove it to me. I cannot touch it and see it, so I don't believe it, because Saturn is a very pragmatic, materialistic, realistic planet, okay? Right, and then on the 8th of March, Saturn moves into Pisces. All right, so here we talk already about building your career, building your status and your place in the hierarchy of the world. And Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius and Capricorn. Capricorn, the mountain goat. Saturn represents mountains and peaks. He wants to reach the top without cutting corners. It's day by day, step by step. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you'll have to be enduring. You'll have to be perseverant. Persevere. Don't give up. You might meet some critical authority figures, restrictive ones in the next 3 years. You might feel overwhelmed, overloaded with work. But remember, the more you do the job, the more then you will be happy with the result, truly proud of yourself. And, you will show up to the world. 10th house is the most visible part in the natal chart. So people will see you like the boss, the godfather, like the leader, the manager, the CEO. Or the parent. Saturn is a very paternalistic figure, and somewhere here will be your point MC, the career point. You know, it's floating, so it might be in Aquarius, in Pisces, in Aries, but maybe already Saturn crossed your MC, giving you these professional challenges, but also offering great achievements in a career. But it all depends on you fighting the circumstances and, you know, maybe even spending all your time on this, but achieving something really tangible and long-lasting and sustainable in the long run. So it might be a business, a career, but also it might be buying a property, becoming a homeowner. Nowadays, for young people, it's so hard, you know, almost everywhere in the world. Also, MC is always connected to the opposite point, IC. It's one axis. So eventually Saturn conjuncting MC is opposing IC. So also changing the structure of your home, family environment. Maybe you will move because of work. Maybe there will be a shrinked space at home because there is one more child born, or you have to take a parent at home to take care of them. Yeah, because Saturn can narrow down things, shrink things. And also I wanted to say that being the planet of karma, if you are on the wrong path for you, if you do the job without pleasure, without knowing that this is your mission in life, this is how you can, in the best possible way, practice your skills, talents, receive good money and respect for it, and be helpful at the same time to the society, to others. Well, if it's not the case, then Saturn can make you redundant, or you know, the company might bankrupt, the business might not work as you wish, right? So there might be lack of work. Maybe for some time you will be going to the unemployment office, right? And you will be like, what are you talking about? I don't have this career success. I'm unemployed and I have tough time with finances and whatnot. But it's again for you to discover what is your true purpose in life. Maybe it's not even working, but it's taking care of your home, of your kids, right? Be the parent, be the grandparent. Maybe it's moving to a different country, to a different culture. So everything that happens on a big scale for you, that even maybe does not depend so much on you, but on the government, authorities, the company, or concerns your position in the society, it's actually for your best. And Saturn is either rewarding you for your efforts and for making the right choices of life direction when he was in the 9th house, or tells you, well, think twice. There must be something else. And you see also here in Pisces, you have the planet Neptune. In 2023, Neptune will cover between 22nd and 27th degree of Pisces. So obviously influencing your life mission as well. And on one hand, you might go with the flow, you know, whatever happens, I'm fine with that. I'm not pushing myself too hard to find a proper job. I'm following the world trends. Why not? That's okay. Or maybe you were professionally doing something more artistic or more spiritual, or something related to pharmaceutics, drugs, or virtual reality, visual arts, or something like this, Neptunian, right? But maybe it wasn't solid. It wasn't like following one direction, because Neptune is like bottomless, like the ocean. And why do you need even one single direction in life if you can just one day float to this direction, the other to that? And it's okay for mutable signs to be more adaptable and flexible. But there you go. Now Saturn will introduce here a bit more structure, goal, and making you put efforts to achieve something more serious in your life. But it's good to have Saturn and Neptune together. Most probably it gives you faith, inspiration to do something important in the world. and to actually do something about it, right? To physically perform some actions. If we talk about your sun, moon, or rising sign in Gemini, when Saturn will be squaring them, it also might feel tough, right? When Saturn would square your sun, you might feel more tired, you might feel pressured or by obstacles or restricted by authority figures, parent, government, that you're not supported, that you want to achieve something serious in life, but you're not sure where to start. So yeah, it can come to some kind of sadness or depression or demotivation. If Saturn squares your moon, that's emotionally tough, because normally moon is our sense of security. Moon wants nurturing, moon wants to feel safe. In your case, in Gemini, the moon is not so emotional like in the water sign, but it can be, what does the moon need? It's what we need subconsciously and consciously as well. You need friends, you need movement, feeling free, doing some fun, interesting things, right? Exploring, learning. And Saturn, again, it's the wall, it's the restriction. So you might feel misunderstood, you might feel suffocated, like there is no point or possibility to learn, to study, to travel, something like that, some more restrictive energy. But I'm just saying it for warned, forearmed, and sometimes relieved, as one client says, because the information is power. It gives you the power to know that this transit will not last forever. It's usually a couple of months up to a year, depends if Saturn goes retrograde. It's a time to be more organized, to be more patient, to learn persistency, to find that you are your own best friend, that you are your own best support, to build your inner core resistance in a sense. And of course, to think about your priorities and your goals. Remember, Saturn doesn't like to waste time. And in 10th house is very serious. It's about like, what are we doing with life? What can we leave as a legacy, right? Also, Saturn squaring moon can give really some changes about home environment, family dynamics. Maybe you will reevaluate your own needs and so on. If Saturn squares your rising sign, meaning he squares at the same time your descendant to ascendant descendant line, then there might be restructuring of your partnerships and relationships. There might be distancing a bit because of work, being busy, or you have to choose wisely the most serious and loyal people, commitments, right? Again, nothing just for fun, nothing too superficial. Maybe the question will be, are we getting married? Are we establishing a family? Do we buy home together, right? Because it's also long-term perspective. Maybe it's about paying mortgages. So yeah, Saturn square your ascendant and sun and moon makes you grow up, makes you become more mature, more responsible. And for some people, especially when we have this childish spark within us, it's a tough process of maturation, right? Maybe it will be because of your partner. Maybe you will separate with someone whom you have outgrown. So maybe you outgrown a relationship, or maybe you sign a very serious contract with a company, with an institution. So you feel like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna work this forever, or at least for the next 30 years, because seventh house is also the deals, contracts, and Saturn is like a mortar. It's like the glue, the concrete that can glue you together with certain people, clients, advisors, mentors, lawyers. But most probably we're talking about work here, work commitments. Yeah, you might feel overworked, tired, depressed sometimes, but think very seriously. Saturn wants you to think, is this the job for you, right? It's important. Okay, so I believe I mentioned everything about... Yeah, oh, right. I wanted to say a couple of words that if your sun, moon, or rising sign are between 22 and 27 Gemini, then Neptune will square you in 2023. And I think I prefer rather the square from Saturn because at least he is realistic. While the but don't worry, Saturn will come here as well, right? While first Neptune is already approaching the later degrees of Pisces, so squaring your later degrees of Gemini. So that's a mist, that's a fog, that's false expectations, that's self-deceptions, or even if it's ascendant, descendant, deception by others. That's looking for Prince Charming or the perfect lady from beauty magazine, the model, right? Or falling in love with a idol, with a Leonardo DiCaprio poster or something like this. So it's unrealistic expectations towards partners. This wouldn't be a good period to sign deals, or at least be very, very careful about them. Neptune square moon or sun can give also tiredness, laziness, confusion, where to go, what to do, everything falls off my hands. I just better sit down and watch Netflix or play video games forever. Escape in a virtual reality or in arts, or I hope not alcohol or substances, anything like that. But mostly it's about your life mission, right? Neptune in the 10th. So yeah, squaring Neptune is a bit tough because you might feel lost and being kind of abused by others, maybe misused at work, right? Something like that. But that's why I'm happy that Saturn will step in as well and eventually will give you this wake-up call, the reality check. This is what Saturn does the best. Right. Also, Neptune can make you oversensitive, while Saturn will make you a bit more cold-blooded and cool-headed. Then the next important transit we want to talk about today is the one of Pluto, which is a truly historical event that on the 23rd of March, Pluto will enter into Aquarius for the first time since its discovery in 1930. Pluto, in the last 15 years, was walking through Capricorn. And in 2023, he will just barely dip his toe in Aquarius. He will manage to reach 0 degree and 21 minutes. And in the summer, already in June, he will be back in Capricorn because he will be retrograde to finish something in the last 3 degrees of Capricorn. So we still will feel, of course, Capricornian Pluto, but also we will be given this glimpse, foretaste, degustation of what the next 20 years will feel like with Pluto in Aquarius for all the society and of course for you as well. Now, first, Pluto in Capricorn was transforming your 8th house. On one hand, this is a very tough transit, but on the other hand, come on, 8th house corresponds to the 8th sign in astrology, which is Scorpio. So it's a Scorpionic part of life. And Scorpio's modern ruler is Pluto. So Pluto was like at home in your 8th house. He was making you look deep within you, explore your subconscious and the most dark corners of it. Pluto first tries to dig down and hide under the carpet all the unpleasant truth, all our feelings of shame, of guilt, something that is truly painful to meet, right? It's normal. But then again, Pluto himself feels so uncomfortable because at the end of the day, he is the planet of the ultimate truth, of being truthful with yourself on the first place. So he doesn't like self-deception or lies. So he's the digger, the grave digger, but he will dig out the same terrifying things from your subconscious, or he will make you experience them through outer circumstances. And I must say that 8th house, it's not only about inner alchemy and inner emotional work and meeting your inner demons, but also it's about crisis situations. 8th house is the area of life and death, is the area of when something suddenly happens in life, when people lose job or home or family member, relative, or financial support. So they're completely broke down into pieces. But this is the purpose of Pluto, to destroy, to burn to ashes in order to revive it again. So you can rise as this little chick of the phoenix bird and to grow again, but already stronger, already wiser, already with more self-control, knowing yourself better. Well, it might be not so dramatic, right? 8th house can be actually also about passive income. It's about managing and controlling others' money. So maybe, and Pluto is the planet of big resources, big finances. It's the banks, it's the government, the underworld as well, the mafia. But in 8th house, that means that maybe you will establish some very massive business. Maybe the government will help you, or you will take big loans. Of course, here be careful, because Pluto talks about dependency and codependency, and maybe you don't want to fall under the control of someone or some institution, whether financially or even also emotionally, because 8th house talks about our intimate world and relationship with someone very special for us. It's about building something together, creating something together, including children. Remember, it's the house of death, but also of life. So Pluto through 8th house probably gave you as well, to some of you Gemini, pregnancy and children. Maybe operation through which you changed your body, maybe plastic surgery, maybe operation to remove something from your body that was toxic, poisoning you. The same way, emotional operation to remove fears, phobias, to remove anything that holds you back from your true self and from your true power. And yeah, we were talking about maybe sometimes fear of trust to someone else, fear of betrayal, fear of intimacy. But here you might meet some very magnetic, charismatic partners, very intense love you can experience, very deep, like really like 50 Shades of Grey, or like this song called Tainted Love by Depeche Mode, and then even more so the cover by Marilyn Manson. So this is burning love, all consuming. It's like black and white, all or nothing. So it can be very intense. I don't know if people can maintain such passion for the rest of their life. So here again, Pluto makes you meet this inner needs, inner instincts. It might be the survival instinct because of some crazy shake-up situations in life, or it might be this instinct of mating with someone, right? Like wanting to have a child with someone because you are attracted. You don't know why, your brain doesn't work, but your body is super attracted to someone, right? It's very animalistic, Pluto, but also be careful from kind of sexual predators and so on, or people who gain control and power over you, because the final goal of Pluto in 8th house is you to take power over yourself, because the more you hide some secrets, some vulnerabilities, the fears, the more you are under control of these vulnerabilities and fears. But you have to become stronger. Order your priorities, order your personal life. Maybe there will be separation with someone because you realize that's not the person to trust and to be with. You have the chance to establish big business. You have the chance to receive big financial investments and support, or manage your spouse or family income, or receive a inheritance, right? And purge, clean your body from toxicity, from bad habits, drinking, smoking, overeating, this something called emotional eating. Pluto will dig the root of the cause. Pluto loves research. It's the detective. He needs the whole truth and only the truth. So you will find why you're smoking, why you are afraid of quitting your marriage, which is, let's say, violent or toxic, or why you are over controlling on your children or on your partner, which is poisoning and spoiling your personal happiness. So yeah, asking questions why. Also being very interested in psychology, esoterics, the occult, meeting with shamans, learning Reiki, healing. 8th house is a Scorpio, is about regeneration, right? Yes, it's about surviving instinct in the toughest conditions, but also it's about shedding the old skin and again becoming like brand new. So you might heal from something psychological or physical. And certainly deep interest in some topics like criminology, some topics taboo, maybe about maybe you are a financial investigator, so, or journalist, right? So it's about very deep research and analysis, self-analysis as well as of something in the outer world. Wow. And then Pluto will go eventually into your 9th house. After Saturn, you see Saturn leaves. Saturn here made you reevaluate your goals in life, your values, your moral code. Hopefully it established something solid, but not too dogmatic. And now Pluto comes and makes this second and deeper purging, asking you, are you sure that what you believe now and what you share with the world is the real deal? You see, 9th house is, again, it's about being popular, renowned, prestigious, celebrity, teacher, preacher, expert, being on conferences, on award ceremonies, gala dinners, right? So here Pluto in 9th house, it can be you that you gain immense popularity. You're so charismatic speaker, orator. You attract people. So be careful what you preach about, what you show people, because they will follow you, right? But you don't want to be a false guru, or you don't want to fall into a trap of a fake scientist, professor, philosopher, spiritual leader. And sometimes they are truly fake, but in this case, because Pluto, even more so than Saturn, is about black and white, my way or the highway. My belief system is the only possible. I'm gonna burn the rest of the world, right? Just to fight for my own faith. So I don't think you will meet some con artists spreading lies, but I believe you might meet people who are inflexible in their opinions. So you try not to become too inflexible, because you see 9th house is against prejudices, while Pluto can have those, right? So it's interesting how it will be combined in your life. It's more about, maybe you will become obsessed with, because Pluto is obsession, with some foreign country, one particular culture, I don't know, Hispanic world, Italy, the Arabic world, right? Or Japan, and you will be studying everything related to Japan, the culture, the history. Then you will quit everything you have here and go to Japan to become a geisha, right? Because there are some schools which still accommodate girls from around the world, and you can study and become a geisha indeed. But I mean, the question is, what will you do later with it? But maybe it is your true vocation to become, let's say, a tour guide in Japan, or translator, interpreter, or working in Japanese embassy in your country. Remember, 9th house is all high-class institutions, the government, the embassies, international affairs, diplomats. Well, Pluto is definitely not a diplomatic planet, so try not to destroy the peace within your country or embassy. But you can be super devoted to some religion, to some belief system, to some knowledge. So maybe you will start studying psychology, world economy. Maybe you would like to work with the Secret Service or international security or national security, right? So something like this, something very prestigious, but also a bit maybe hidden, to be like this gray cardinal. Or on the other hand, become virally popular. But that's why you have to be absolutely certain in your own convictions. Nothing superficial, mediocre, but also no bullshit will Pluto tolerate here in ninth house of your consciousness and expanding your horizon. Maybe you can't stop traveling, right? Or when you travel, you will transform. You will transform. In eighth house, you were transforming through psychology, deep analysis, through intimate relationships, sex, children, like pregnancy. And now in ninth house, you go somewhere and it's like epiphany. Whoa, opens you completely new world and new horizons. Just don't get obsessed. Don't get obsessed with knowledge or opening your minds. Okay. Ninth house is also court cases. So as with Saturn, as well as with Pluto, here there might be some very tough battles in the court, like life or death, like the court case of Amber and Johnny Depp. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Okay. Next thing we will talk about is a bit lighter topic, is what Jupiter will do in 2023. Well, until the 17th of May, Jupiter goes through Aries, boosting your social life, your communication with other people. Maybe you'll travel with them, or you will meet people who are foreigners, or people who have the same interests as you. Again, through studies, through being part of a university group or college. You might take some inspirational leadership position within a group of people. It might be online. You might become a presenter, a blogger, a teacher online. The common goal is important, and to feel happy with other people. Also, 11th house, remember, are the gains from work. So here you can earn big bonuses, big acknowledgements for your professional achievements. Be proud of yourself professionally. And also your colleagues can be like, wow, proud of you. And also 11th house is your own hopes, dreams, and wishes. It's kind of related a bit to 9th house, the direction in life overall. Here is the vision, where you're headed. How can you help society with already what you know and what you have achieved? So keep on professionally developing, and you will see that sky is the limit, right? Jupiter is like Neptune. He is borderless, limitless. He is full of hope and optimism. So go on for dream big, definitely. And then after the 17th of May, Jupiter enters Taurus, which is your 12th house. So in the second half of the year, there will be this inner feeling that everything is okay and will be okay. The world supports me. The universe loves me. My ancestors and the guardian angels are with me and showing me the way, right? Because 12th house is the invisible world that stands behind us. It's the past, so maybe you will enjoy digging into the genealogy of your family history. Maybe you will travel somewhere far away, right? 12th house is places of isolation like monasteries, ashrams, retreats. Maybe you will go on pilgrimage, like doing something more spiritual or something today a bit more secular, which is the Camino de Santiago in northern Spain. But it's for about, I don't know, 2-3 months you can do it. Or do some shortcuts as well for shorter time, but definitely have more pleasure in spiritual activities, doing something on your own, a bit quietly in isolation. Maybe you will meet someone from abroad and you will be first communicating online, long distance relationship, because Jupiter in ancient astrology represented husbands for women and also children, by the way. So Jupiter in the 12th maybe will make you retrieve a bit from the society because you will be, taking care of your health and being with a baby more. Right. Then what else we have? Yeah, then let's talk about the karmic lunar nodes. The north node here, like a horseshoe, and always across it is the south node. They change signs every year and a half. The north node shows through what we can develop and evolve. It's the future, it's the evolution. And the south node is the comfort zone, is what we have to accept, understand, be grateful for, release, let go, and end, terminate. I love to check the position of the lunar nodes in natal charts, what sign, what house, very importantly, what planet they aspect. That shows so much about your soul's mission, direction, desires, fears, the baggage you drag with you from first half of life or past incarnations. It's precious knowledge. But of course, even checking them like transits, we can see what we will do the next year and a half more, where we will be kind of excited, insatiable, where there will be new opportunities presented for us. And in your case, Gemini, the North Node goes into 11th house. So you see, they kind of switch places with Jupiter. Jupiter will give you this inner hope, faith, and optimism, and support by the invisible world, an interest in spirituality or esoterics or arts as well, while the North Node will keep pushing you into society, into community of people, hopefully people who maybe are as well interested in the same topics, right? Again, we're talking about either you being the leader, teacher, preacher, mentor, inspiring person, or expert who does something for a group of people, like a professor in university, maybe abroad, or online distance education, or you will be part of these people who experience life together and learn from this experience. Maybe if you go to some volunteer project, right? Because also 12th house is about charity, 11th house is about social causes and volunteering. I went like this to a European volunteer service abroad when my 11th house was active. The North Node and South Node are known in Vedic mythology as Rahu and Ketu, the head of the dragon and the tail of the dragon. They used to have a body as well and be one creature, a demon, but he was a trickster. He lied to the gods. He stole the elixir of immortal life, drank it, he became immortal, but the gods in their anger split this demon into two halves. So now the head, the Rahu part, is of course always looking ahead. It's insatiable. It wants to try new things, experiences, people. So you might meet many people, many like friends, right? And first you can be super enthusiastic, then you will be like, no, actually I got confused. These are not my people, not my tribe. So move on, move to the next class, move to the next forum, next group of people. Maybe you will try to find your hobby. At the same time, Ketu, the tail of the dragon, will be moving through your 5th house. 5th house is more about the ego, about what I want to do for my own pleasure. I want to be the leader, right? Like I want attention from others, but also 5th house is exactly about talents and hobby that we do for ourselves though. So you must be more oriented to society, to groups, to other people, and maybe work together with them to create something interesting and beautiful, modernistic. By the way, you might meet younger people from different cultures, exotic countries, someone who is like blowing your mind with this new inventions, new technologies, because Rahu, remember, it's from the future, it's about the future, it's dragging you or pulling you into the future with other people. Wherever we have the notes, there we have also eclipses. So in 2023, we will have 4 eclipses. I'll just briefly mention them. I plan to record separate videos as the year progresses, diving into all of these events I describe for you now. So the first eclipse will be on the 20th of April at 29 degrees Aries, and that's, you see, your 11th house most probably. It will be squaring Pluto in your 9th. Pluto will be at 0 Aquarius. So we're talking about completely new society for you, maybe a startup, new class at university, international company. Then on the 5th of May, we have a lunar eclipse at 14 degrees Scorpio. And here we have the energy of finishing some work project or routine duty, ending, solving some problem, healing and solving some physical maybe issue, or discovering what's the root of the cause of the problem. Then on the 28th of October, then on the 14th of October, we have a solar eclipse at 21 degrees Libra. That's your 5th house. It will be with Mercury and with the South Node. So solar eclipse, yes, something new in the life of your children, new relationship, new hobby, maybe related to knowledge, studies, vehicles, traveling, learning, sharing information, online business maybe, but at the same time with a little flavor from the past, some kind of a bit nostalgic maybe. And on the 28th of October, we have a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Taurus in your 12th house. So again, there will be this energy of healing, cleansing, purging, ending something in order to something new to enter into our life. Maybe emigration as well, or starting some remote work or online project. Right, a couple of words, let's say, about Venus. She's not here on the chart. Venus usually spends in each sign a month, but in 2023, she will stay 4 months in Leo, from 6th of January till the 10th of October. Now, Venus is a sweet, beautiful planet. She will enhance your desire to study, to communicate. I expect for you plenty of pleasant meeting, nice acquaintances, most probably women, young women, studies, you will enjoy studies, maybe developing some skills in beauty, aesthetics, cosmetics, cooking, or finances. You might buy yourself a very sweet, beautiful, comfortable car. Your communication with the neighbors, siblings, extended family, people in your neighborhood might improve. You might enjoy spending time with your local community, making your region or neighborhood nicer, more beautiful, more peaceful. You might have very successful, lucrative, gainful business deals, success if you launch PR and marketing campaigns, promote yourself, you will be liked online, you will meet some friends online or while traveling. But why Venus spends so long time here in Leo? Because she will be part of the time retrograde, so going backwards. This will happen between the 23rd of July and the 4th of September. So when Venus is retrograde, it's generally not a good idea to start completely new Venusian projects in your life, like relationships, like buying something especially expensive and especially compulsively. You might, though, find, even when Venus is retrograde, some good deals for secondhand things, recycled things, or antique things, right? Something already used. Venus retrograde is not the best time to do for the first time any plastic surgery, cosmetic operation, beautification process, change your style. Maybe it's good to correct what was already done and you did not like it on the first go of Venus forward, then second time she goes backwards. So you're like rethinking, oh no, I think I'm gonna change this hairstyle, or I don't like these clothes, I'll donate them and buy something else or give them to secondhand shop. And already the best way to act anyways will be when Venus is direct again for the third time, crossing the same degrees of Leo. But even when she's retrograde, it's good time to reevaluate, to reassess your value system regarding knowledge, regarding your acquaintances. Do you like all of them? Do you make too much compromise to be popular, to communicate with people? Do you receive the same amount of respect and love from them, from your siblings, from your family, or you invest too much time and efforts to help them, right? So like maybe also it's about your car. Do I need this car? Maybe I should sell it, buy something smaller or that does not waste so much gas, and so on. So re-evaluation of your relationships, of your style, of your way of self-expression, communication, blogging, maybe change the style of your website and vlog aesthetically, right? Venus is about aesthetics and how something looks like, whether it's pleasant, fulfilling, satisfying, balanced, harmonious. Maybe there was some imbalance regarding your communication with neighbors, right? So now you can just, at least for yourself, think about it. You will be very charming in your self-expression, writing down things, teaching when Venus will be crossing your third house, like enjoying your mental abilities and manual skills as well. But also, yeah, buying something, especially gadgets, mobile phones, or something like that, rather after Venus is direct again, after the 4th of September or before the 23rd of July. Then Mercury, finally, we talk about your ruler, will be retrograde 3 times throughout the year. First time, 21st of April till 15th of May, Mercury will be retrograde in your Taurus, in your 12th house. So maybe remembering something, finding something lost, negotiating process of emigration, and so on. Then 23rd of August till the 15th of September, Mercury retrogrades in your fellow sign of Virgo, because he also rules Virgo. So that's your 4th house. After a long time no seen, you meet family members, parents, you go back home, or you reassess, revise some paperwork related to buying, selling, or renting a property. Maybe you meet some old roommates. You travel to some places you've been already, with both cases, 12th house and 4th house. And then from 13th of December till the 1st of January 24, Mercury moves retrograde from Capricorn. For a while, he goes back to Sagittarius. So reassessing 8, 7 houses, your partnerships, business agreements, loans, taxes, investments, mortgages, passive income, and maybe you will be reevaluating your deals and contracts. Wow, Gemini, so this is how 2023 in general, in broad strokes, looks like for you. Notice this interesting thing. All these slow-moving planets are now moving through your upper hemisphere, which is the public life, which is your career aspirations and your role in the society. right? Like the aim, the goals you have to achieve in life. Not so much like introspective and personal and family related, but more like, well, again, maybe your public role is to raise children, right? But you have to come to this conclusion. Remember that Pluto and Saturn will be strictly monitoring and make you be very precise with your life direction and achieving success in life and creating something solid, tangible, long-lasting, being true to yourself and to your philosophy and ideas, and share them with others. Share them with the world, study and teach, most probably, definitely. This learning and social access are very active as well. Dear Gemini, I hope my videos are interesting and pleasant and useful for you. Thank you so much for sharing, liking my videos, for subscribing to my channel. I also want to mention that I offer 2 types of consultations. One is natal chart analysis. Yes, I call it analysis because what I do, I really love to analyze what I see as your natal charts. I do it in a live Skype conversation. I like Skype because it does not restrict me on time, and my natal chart analysis goes 2 hours usually, and I can share the screen with you. I can point you things on the screen, and basically also Skype records the conversation, so that's good. And it's really important, if you have not done yet any meeting with an astrologer, I would start from there, from the natal chart analysis, because it's once in a lifetime knowledge. On the other hand, some people like to visit different astrologers because every astrologer is a personality, right? And we attend different astrology schools. So maybe you would like to gather a different point of view on your natal chart, but it's so important to understand your natal chart, to be familiar with it, because it tells you so much about yourself. It's like a fingerprint, very unique, very personal. For me, you can read there the soul's contract that the soul has signed in order to be born in your body, in your family, at a specific time, date, hour, minute, second, right? To appear in this material physical world. And this is what we do, the picture of the sky in this moment, which helps us read the energies which go through whole life with us. Now, my understanding of astrology is not fatalistic. My readings are not about telling people at what age they will marry, how many kids and dogs they will have, and when and from what they will die. I know it can be seen in the chart, it can be interpreted and read in the chart, but no one is 100% accurate. Astrology is not fortune telling. It's about calculations and interpretations. And I believe firmly in the free will of each of us. There is something called destiny, which is simply the set of our mindset, our character, our experience piled up and accumulated in the way we act and react. Our formation from childhood, family influence, inner desires, soul desire, soul mission, the challenges in life we have to walk through, the certain patterns we repeat until we realize what the hell is going on. That's why knowledge is power. And also, of course, we're talking about your talents, your hidden, beautiful treasures, resources. You see, some people say, I don't need astrological consultation. I know myself well enough. And that's fantastic. But even Sigmund Freud was giving this theory about the iceberg, that people, the consciousness, what we know about ourselves is just the tip of the iceberg, 10%. The rest is submerged underwater. This is the subconscious. This is the memories. This is the influence, if you will, from past life, or everything we take in like a sponge, right? Even as a baby. This is the blind spot. And of course, we people meet other people only by interacting with the world, with others, to fall into certain situations. We're like, wow, I didn't know I can react this way, or I didn't know I have such a stamina or something, right? But so that's why, I mean, it's really, really interesting to discuss with you your natal charts for 2 hours in my natal charts readings or analysis. And then any forecasting is based once again on your natal chart. And my second astrological service is yearly forecast. 1 year, 12 months. It can be purchased anytime, right? I will always check the 12 months ahead. Some people prefer to purchase the yearly forecast at the beginning of a new year, calendar year. Okay, makes some sense, but for me, even more sense it makes if you purchase your forecast before your birthday. So I can check your personal natal year, the so-called solar year, because every birthday is like happy new year to you, right? A new energy is born for you. Different areas of natal charts, like houses, planets, planetary combinations and aspects, are triggered every single year we walk through life. The yearly forecast I deliver in a written form. I prepare around 3 days for it. Yeah, 3 days. I use several forecasting techniques. I'm analyzing, calculating, interpreting. So then I send you this document via email. People like to print it out. I know they underline it or highlight it with different colors. They keep it on the table or near the bed and kind of following these guidelines. It's like a report for the whole year ahead, right? So it's normal that you won't absorb it from one reading. That's why I like it that it's written and you can read it as many times as you want. Again, it's not fatalistic. Astrologer will not liberate you from your responsibilities in life to choose what to do. It's like weather forecast, right? So you can be told that in May it will be raining. And so some person will be like, hey, I love the rain, right? So in May, they'll go dancing under the rain. They might meet someone also dancing under the rain. So the couple will be formed. Other people will be like, okay, it's gonna rain in May. I wanna dance under the rain, but hey, I have a hole in my roof. So maybe for me, it's better to prepare for this rainy season by working on my home and property, right? So there you go, like a metaphorical example that influences generally might be similar even for all Gemini and so on, but based on your natal chart, you will react differently and you can do different things. And it very much depends on your current situation. You see, for me, astrologers are like your psychologist or your lawyer. You have to trust your astrologer, share where you stand. Remember, astrology is not fortune telling. Astrologer doesn't need to know that maybe currently you are planning a divorce or selling a house and you're like just asking what's gonna happen in the year ahead. You should say, you know, I'm planning selling a house. Do you think it's gonna be a auspicious period, right? So trust, and of course, anything discussed in a private consultations with astrologers stay between astrologer and client. So yeah, I take into consideration, of course, the current life circumstances of the person to build the 12 months ahead suggestions, advices, and the forecast itself, of course. So if you have more questions about my procedure of doing astrological consultations, then don't hesitate, write me. I will leave below in the description below this video my contacts. Also, I'm leaving in this description the link for my Facebook and Instagram pages. If you would like to support my work, my channel, then I'm also leaving my PayPal account I will be grateful for, of course, any donations and financial support as well. YouTube gives you another option to do it. There is a button in the shape of a heart underneath the video. You can click on it and you will see the options to express gratitude, as YouTube calls it too. Dear Gemini, I thank you very much for being with me. I wish you a wonderful, fantastic 2023, exciting, interesting. I hope you will achieve everything you want in life, everything you have planned. It's very important just to have a focus, right, of what exactly you want, and that's already 50% of materializing it. I hope you will be surrounded by true friends, people who love you, loved by you, like-minded people for support, for inspiration. I wish you a lot of pleasure and adventures in this abundant 2023. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.